Good morning, guys. Let me just scroll all the way up here. We have a pretty long chat. See if I can catch everyone. Hi, Gary. Hi, Echo. Hi, Nazim. Let's see. Hi, Kumari. Hi, School Times. Peter. Gaming. Is it How? Black Spectre. Mr. Lino, Tanky, Long, Jaden, Luna, Iraq, is Spoff, Spoff, Muga. Hey Stein. Hi Catalyst. You hate mostly non-OP bots like Sam Jock just running around? Well, I mean, the thing is, I've been in some games where like there's like 3 or 4 Sam Jocks and they're just circling in your spawn area, just putting down turrets. I think so the way that the Sam Jock works is like I'm totally fine with that, but to have a bot that is constantly in phase shift, at some point you need a bit of a cooldown. But if you do that cooldown, then you've got to give the Sam Jock more durability to withstand the period that it's vulnerable. So that's kind of how I would put things. Do you want to know when I'm going to be announcing the winners? It's all in that video. If you are asking me when am I going to be announcing the winners, go back to that sword unit giveaway video. Everything is there. The details on how to enter, when the winners are going to be announced, everything is in that video. Hey Brandon. Hi Legend. Nerf Indra. They did a nerf Indra. They nerfed the well, they say they nerfed the Ravager and Vajra, but I was actually testing it out on the test server yesterday on the Mauler, and I was like doing a lot of damage. So the thing is, you don't, when it comes to the test server, just an FYI, I never take things seriously on there because a lot of the times there's bugs, there's inconsistencies. What they put down there may not actually be active, and sometimes they make mistakes. You know, so like to base your decisions on that, I think you got to be out of your mind. What I usually do is I give it. So when I see what's happening, I kind of prepare for it in a way where I'm like, okay, well, if I'm upgrading something that they say is going to be heavily nerfed, what I do is I just completely stop putting my resources into that, and then I kind of readjust myself. But I don't like make concrete decisions and start like changing my hanger entirely. What I do is I look to see what actually happens on the live server, and then I base it on that. Because remember, I think it was a couple of updates ago when they did the rebalance, I think it was a Luchador. It was either Luchador or Rook, I think. There was proposed nerfs and they cancelled it. And the players were getting so dramatic about like, oh, their Luchador was, and they were crying about it and stuff, like throughout the whole test server. And then in the end, Pixonic just cancelled it altogether because not because of the players, because they found that, you know, based on their numbers, they didn't need to change the Luchador. So that's why I don't like stress out about like just changes in general. Hi Keymaster. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the buffs and nerfs. I'm gonna switch on over to the War Robots test server Discord thing. So we can take a look at that. I don't know if you guys want me to throw in some gameplay just to kind of make things a bit more interesting. I can do that as well. I'm gonna try to keep this short. Of course, when I say that, you know, the stream becomes like 3 hours, but I don't want it just to be 3 hours of like talking. Like I'd rather do some gameplay just to kind of mix things up. So let me just do that. Hold on, let me see if I can try to. I always struggle when it comes to doing like the different screens here. Okay, let me just see if I... Man, why am I getting feedback? I think my headphones are too close to my mic. That's weird. Okay, can you guys see that? I think you can. Yeah, you can. Add more fart power. You talking about the Arthur? Yeah, I'm just looking at my screen. Yeah, you guys can see that, right? Okay, so we're on the official War Robots Discord. They actually have a section there for test server updates. So we're going to take a look at some of these proposed changes. Now, before I actually read them out and we kind of go through it, again, just, up front, what you see here is not set in stone. It is the first round of testing, which means the probability of these things changing for the next test server is extremely high. I mean, we could see 80% of what we see here change. And there could be stuff that gets scrapped entirely. We could also see things get added, which... I mean, I guess that has happened in the past too. But they have canceled things, and more than not, they will adjust. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. I always have to remind players because they usually jump into conclusions, and then they find out at the end when it comes to live server that what they were so worried about got canceled. So, okay, so we're going to take a look at, I guess, they've got, basically it's all broken down. So you can see here, we've got robots, we've got titans. You see that? Yeah, you can see that. Robot weapons. There's so much stuff here. You know what? I better get started. Otherwise, we're going to be here for 5 hours. Okay, Ravager. Yeah, so there is going to be some things which I agree on. When I say agree, I mean yeah, it needs a nerf, but maybe not necessarily agree on what they have proposed. The Ravager, so what they have here, entering Veil no longer removes negative effects, no longer grants immunity from negative effects, exiting Veil. I mean, that's a lot of things that they're reducing here for the Ravager. Now, I can tell you what I've experienced when I go up against another Ravager. So first of all, you have 5 medium weapons. You have a lot of firepower. My thinking is anything that has that amount of firepower should be easy to take down. So if you're going to give it for example, a lot of durability, or you're going to give it resistance in any capacity, that bot is going to be too strong. So that's my thoughts on it. Whether what they have here is the right move, I don't know. I mean, you can test it on the test server, but the thing is, like I said before, the problem with the test server is it's so inconsistent. I find, so for example, I was on the test server yesterday testing out the new bot, but I wanted to test it out, test out some of the nerfs done to the Dux. The thing is, I couldn't even run Atomizer. So if I can't run Atomizer, how do I know how the weapons are going to shoot? Because they didn't provide that in the inventory. So I would need to test the Ravager to see how these affects, but it will definitely be a lot weaker. Okay, now there's other things that you can do to strengthen it, like drones, but they're gonna be nerfing drones too. So one of the comments that I mentioned actually to Peter, because we were talking about the is it the Oppo drone or whatever, however you pronounce it, the new drone. A lot of players were kind of hyping it up, and I told him, so many players are hyping up this drone. I really don't see what all the hype is about. I know when you jump, you get that shield and it's 350,000. But the thing is, you have Ravagers outputting 1 million plus more damage. What is 350,000 Aegis gonna do? It's not gonna save you, because you're getting hit by so much firepower. It's kind of insane. The amount of damage output we have on the field is crazy. If you look at not just only Ravager, so you have Ravager, I mean, we could be looking at Regulators, we could be looking at Scatty, worse off Mogwan, or Ultimate Havoc. The damage output is insane. It's not even just those. You look at even the Nuo boosting the damage up. There's just so much damage output right now. which needs to be turned back. Like, so I do agree with them in that they need to, like, you know, the average lifespan of your body is really short right now. They need to change that because I don't think it is it's not healthy for the game. So I agree with that part of their statement, which we'll get to later on. What do you guys think of these changes here? So this part here, I don't know how this is going to affect, but that's quite a lot of nerfs. I think for me, I mean, it's so hard to tell. Like these are the things that, you know, you gotta actually run it on the live server to actually know how much it's going to affect it. You got to keep in mind that the Ravager does have 5 medium weapon slots. Any kind of bot that has that amount of firepower you should be able to kill it easily. Like, it shouldn't be a tank. If it's a tank, we've got a problem. Then we've got the Sam Jock here. Someone was saying in the live chat that they don't think the Sam Jock deserves a nerf. So in the games that I played, players are constantly in phase shift, and their turret does so much damage. So my thoughts on the Sam Jock, it does need a nerf. Whether it's these things, I don't know. I just know that it needs a nerf. There needs to be some sort of a cooldown to make the Sam Jock more vulnerable. So that's my thoughts on the Sam Jock. But if you have a very long cooldown in between, like, the abilities, or you start doing, like, messing around with that, then I would increase the durability. I'm just looking at the live stream. There's a bit of a delay. I'm just, like, highlighting some of the changes. Sam Jock is gonna get obliterated. I don't know. We'll see, because, like, you know, again, this is just the initial numbers. They may not even go through with all of this. They might just say, okay, well, what we're gonna do is maybe they might change, like, just this one. Who knows? You know, if you make it slow, then players can at least track you down and, like, hunt you down so that you're more vulnerable. But they do need to make the Sam Jock more vulnerable. It's actually a squishy bot for the fact that it can just keep on going into phase shift all the time. That part I don't like. So that's my thoughts on the Sam Jock. Then we have the Dux here. Okay, so we've got reduced fire rate, reduced capacity of Aegis. Okay, so your Aegis shield. So this one here, your Aegis shield is dropping from 320 to 150,000. Again, like, if they're going to be lowering the damage output of all the weapons, then I'm okay with this. But there's one thing here that I'm not sure about, like this one here. A lot of players are complaining about this. Yeah, this pot no longer restores great durability. Maybe what they need to do is, maybe it does restore, but it doesn't restore fully. I think I would rather have something like that than what they have here. Sam Jock is the only way to survive. Actually, Ravana has a very similar ability. But yeah, the Sam Jock is just the constant phase shift. I mean, anyone who thinks that that is balanced, you're not exactly... I mean, just think about it. You could be in an enemy spawn and you just keep putting down your turrets. If you have multiple Sam Jocks, someone spawns in, instant death. And the thing is, they can't even fight back because the Sam Jock is constantly in phase shift. So if you think that that is balanced, then you're probably saying that because you own a Sam Jock. Yeah, because there needs to be some period where it has to be vulnerable. Like, if it's not vulnerable, then we got a problem. Right? Now they have the Condor. Losing physical shield restored durability. That's a pretty big hit there. Increased damage against Titans. You know what? I don't. This is just me personally, but I don't see that many Condors out there right now. So I don't even know if I would even touch it. I think I would just leave it as is. I know what they have here. I guess because if they're lowering the damage of weapons, then you won't be able to really take down the Condor as easily. But I think maybe this might be a little bit too much. Maybe they should test it at like 20%. And we might even see that for the next test server. Shadow, thank you so much for the donation. Love your content and all you do for the WR community. Can you let Pix know the web store will not allow users to collect free thorium? Shadow, I think I actually saw someone post that already in their Discord. I think it was under the like high priority chat. So I think I have seen that. I'll double check after the stream. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for the donation. Yeah, the only reason why I can see them doing this is because, again, if all the weapon, like the damage output is being lowered, if you leave the Condor at the 30%, it might be too high. Because then it's almost like you're dealing with like another Leo in the sky. That's the only reason I can see that. But just overall, I don't think I would really touch the Condor. So they have here... Raptor reflector is limited to jumping, reduced movement speed, increased durability. That's quite a big increase here in quite a big increase in the durability. That's let's see, reflector is limited to jumping. I don't know how that's gonna play out actually. Yeah, because you know when you have when you're on the ground and your reflector shield is up, that does help a lot. But now it's only going to be when you're basically in flight, which I don't mind because that's usually when you're quite vulnerable. Because I know like when I play the super jump on the Raptor, usually I get hit by the Ravagers with regulators, and they do a ton of damage. That's why I have to run the Shy. So having the reflector shield there is good. I'm not sure how it's gonna play out when it's on the ground and it doesn't have a reflector shield. It's gonna go down pretty quickly. Honestly, this is not that big of a nerf overall. I mean, because they're giving it more durability to the speed. I think I would have left as is. Like what they have now, I think like I would have been totally fine if they kept this the way that it is already and they increase the durability and then do that. But I don't think the Raptor is going to suffer as much as we all think. I think it's still going to be really tanky. Yeah, they shouldn't have lowered it. Yeah, I would have kept it as is. Again, just personal opinion here. The Leo reduced defense points per stack. Okay, we all knew this was going to come. The Leo is way too strong right now. This needs a nerf. So yeah, this I agree with. And then newer reduced damage bonus. 5% to 4%. Okay, so between these two new robots, the main problem isn't really the Nuo. Okay, the Nuo I know boosts your damage, but it's actually really easy to kill. I guess the amount here is kind of debatable. It's the Leo that's more the problem. The Leo you just can't kill. Like, this is what I find with the Leo. If I want to deal with the Leo right now, I need to run Ultimate Havoc, or I need to you know, bring up my Titans so I can kill them. I mean, that's how I deal with them. But the fact that I need like Ultimate Havoc to deal with them just goes to show you how powerful they are. Or I guess the new arm weapons, but still, we're outputting so much damage. Decreased speed compensated with the longer jump. You're saying, so maybe they need to go back to like the jump that we had before, but then reduce the speed. Newer isn't a big deal to start with. The only thing with the newer is more the amount of damage, because I think they did nerf it after the release because it was doing too much damage, from what I understand. But we've got like a slight damage nerf, which I don't think it's going to affect the Nuo as much. I don't think you're going to notice it too much. But the Leo, you will definitely notice. You will definitely notice that. But at least we can kill the Leo now. So that's a good thing. Because, like, you know, the squad's running multiples. That is that's going to be a problem, right? And we already have the sword unit. Someone was saying that, you know, Pixonic, they never nerf. Like the new stuff, it's always the old stuff. Well, I have news for you because you can see here we've got the Leo, Nuo, and the sword all getting nerfed. So what they have here for the sword unit, reduced built-in weapon damage is being reduced by a lot. Look at that. Increased built-in weapon projectile speed. And then the sword damage. Wait, why do they have two amounts here? 55, 18... Well, either way, it's doing far less damage. So first of all, the sword unit's actually really easy to kill if you have a shield breaker. Okay, so if they're gonna make it where it's doing less damage like that, I think they need to give the sword unit more durability. That's my thoughts on the sword unit. Like if I was to balance it out, if it's not gonna do that much damage when it charges in or dashes in, they need to give it more durability to withstand, because now it can't even defend itself. Hey, Brian. Jay's asking me, the ice noodles for the prime sword unit, is it good? Yeah, those weapons are really strong right now. I've actually also been testing out another set of weapons, which we can do. Do you guys actually want me to do like maybe a game or two, and then we can move from the robots to like the titans and stuff, just to kind of break things up? I mean, we can do that. Okay, so now, okay, so those are the new bots. Now it looks like this section here, we've got some of the older bots which are actually buffing. So the Orochi, wow. When last did they even... Okay, so I guess they're noticing that no one's running the Orochi, so now they're going to increase the movement speed, as well as increase the... So that's all the built-in weapon. Davis, thank you so much for the donation. Is the Hawk back now? Oh, because they got the reflector shield here? I wouldn't say it's back, but I would say that it would be more viable. It won't be as easy of a target when it's in flight, which is when it has the reflector shield. So yeah, this is an interesting one. The Demeter one actually surprised me a lot. Actually, wait. I just noticed something. So the Demeter and also the Revenant. Demeter increased bonus to repairs provided by the Absorber. Whoa, that's a crazy increase. That's a very big buff. That 20 to 35% increased bonus to repairs. Damage in flight is kind of low. Yeah, it will be more viable in that you won't die as quickly, I guess, because your reflector shield, you know, players will shoot you and end up taking quite a bit of damage. But for the Hawk to be more viable, it needs to do more damage output with the built-in weapon. But here's the thing. So I said this in my Discord this morning. When Pixonic buffs or nerfs something, you will never see just one round. It's very rare that you will see that. Sometimes they get it right. But usually what they do is, so they will buff it once, and they'll buff it again and again. And you'll see that trend happen until players start using it, and then they'll stop. And the same goes with the nerfs. If everyone is using it, they will nerf it. And then if the numbers are still high, they will nerf it again. And they'll keep doing that until players stop using it. Or they don't use it as much, and then they stop. So that's why you are seeing like these three here getting nerfed. I mean, no one uses the Orochi, and in all honesty, we don't really see that many use the Demeter either, or the Hawk, like these bots, right? So that's why we're seeing them buff them now. But remember, this is like, actually, correction, it isn't. The Revenant was buffed before, I think they gave it like more durability or something to the physical shields or something like that. I can't remember what it was. So this is, I think this is the second or third buff for the Revenant. We haven't seen buffs for the Orochi Demeter Hawk shell. Wait, didn't they buff the Fafnir? Movement speed. They may have buffed the Fafnir. If not, if this is the first round, we're going to see more buffs to the Fafnir in the future. This is the start. So what I would do is, you know, especially if you are a new player building your hangar, what I would do is take note of these bots here. Keep it on your radar because quite often, like I said, they don't do one round of like buffs or nerfs. Usually it's multiples over a period, but keep these on your list because they may become really good. Like if I had to look at this list, I would definitely look at the Revenant, Shell, and the Demeter. Those three in particular. Your King Hawk is buffed. Yeah, Fafnir too, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Bonus to movement speed. I mean that's quite a lot of that's a big increase in speed. Yeah, so bonus to movement. Whoa, even the shell, 33 to 45% speed boost. Those are some pretty sizable buffs. With the buffed Revenant. I mean, I can... Do you guys want me to do some... we can do some gameplay now. So that... I mean, I can keep on going. Because they have... Well, they have tight... Should I just keep on going here just to get this out the way and then we can do gameplay? Or would you like me to do some gameplay? I can do some gameplay now and then we can come back and we can take a look at the Titans. And then we can look at like the robot weapons. We can do that as well. But I do want to go through everything here. Hi, Cray. Is it Crazy? Okay, you guys are saying keep going? Okay, we can do that. Okay, so we're on Titans. Okay, so the Mauler is getting another nerf. Reduced resistance, reduced time window for converting incoming damage, reduced duration, increased defense points. Okay, so... Well, to be honest, I knew that the Mauler was gonna get a nerf, and I think I even said it, you know, for the past couple of weeks, because I was telling you guys that if you look at the Titans that are on the field, it's mostly Devourer, Mauler, to some extent the Ultimate Minos, but we're not. If we're not talking about that, then we're talking about you know, just regular Titans. Bjorn is up there. But the two most popular that I would say, definitely Maul and Devourer. And, well, look, both of them are going to get a nerf. Oh, Jamel, thank you so much for the donation. Much appreciated. WR101 now in session. Because Bjorn doesn't sell well. I actually don't think, you know, even this might sound crazy to you guys, but again, like I wouldn't. This is why I don't really go by test server. When I ran the Mauler on the test server, it was still smoking a lot of stuff. Like, okay, it did go down a lot quicker than it does like now currently, obviously because of these changes. But they didn't change anything to the dark light, which you have to kind of wonder. So with the Bjorn, someone was saying in the chat, they're doing this because the Bjorn isn't selling and they want players to buy the Bjorn. The thing is, they didn't change anything to the dark light, right? So if they don't change anything to the dark light, I think we will still see Maulers, and I still think they're going to smoke the Bjorn. The Bjorn will survive longer. Don't get me wrong, it'll survive longer, but the damage output is still there to deal with it. And then we have the Devourer. Okay, that's a lot of... So my opinion here is that I wouldn't go too far on the Devourer. Now, I don't know if you guys recall, and I kind of mentioned this before during my stream. Like, I think I mentioned on Friday, but even before then I mentioned it. Players were telling me that the Mauler is so overpowered. And yes, it is strong, but you know, this is even before all the nerfs happened. Well, before the first nerf happened to the Mauler. I stopped running the Mauler when the Devourer came out. I didn't think much of the Devourer until I was 1 vs 1 against a Devourer and I saw what he was doing. So what he would do is he would actually leech to me. So he wouldn't take that much damage, and he was outputting my damage basically back onto me using the Devourer. What he did was he would fire everything at my Mauler, and then when his ability was about to end, like the leech ability, he would go back into stealth. Because I didn't have anti-stealth, like I didn't have quantum sensor on my Mauler, I couldn't kill him. So what ended up happening was I was sitting there like basically like a bag of silver, only for him to go back into ability mode, leech onto me, and then do damage. And he would just going over and over. He was repeating that cycle, and it was impossible for me to do any damage to him whatsoever. And that when I saw what that player was doing to me, after I saw that, I realized that the Devourer was a hard counter to the Mauler, and I stopped running the Mauler altogether. So for the ones who are asking me, why haven't I run the Mauler recently? That is the reason why, because the Devourer is the hard counter to it. Now, this is the interesting part. So if the Devourer is a hard counter to the Mauler, what's the hard counter to the Devourer? Because I know you guys are going to be asking that. Well, the hard counter to the Devourer is actually the Dux. Okay, so I was dying a lot to the Dux using the Seeker. Because when I went into stealth mode, so I didn't get hit by the Mauler, the Dux would come in with Seeker and I would get killed by it. Because then I have to engage, I have no choice. And that was when I would get killed, because now I'm vulnerable to the Mauler and the Dux. So that's how you would counter the Devourer. And this is why I told players back then, if I was, because I saw everyone saying nerf the Dux, and I was like, I wouldn't do that, because that is the counter to the Devourer, and the Devourer is a counter to the Mauler. If you do that, you're taking away one of your key counters to the Devourer. Also, the Dux is a counter to the Leo. So you're shooting yourself in the foot, asking for a complete nerf to the Dux. That's why I said those things. You can counter if you're in a Mauler, you can't counter a Devourer. But now I'm not so sure with all of this stuff going on here. This is one of those things where there's so many changes to it. I need to run it on the live server to see how it fares. So yeah, that's the two. Do I think they need to be nerfed? Judging from the games that I play and the fact that, you know, the majority, if I say like 80-90% of the games, that's all there is. Mauler, Devourers, Bjorn. If you're asking me, should they be nerfed? The answer is yes, because we're not seeing any kind of diversity. We're not seeing players run like things like Heimdall. You know, like there's certain things that, I mean, if those are the only Titans you see, you know something is wrong. They're too strong. And I would like to see more diversity, like more players running things like Heimdall in their Minos, for example, too. So what this is going to do is this nerf is going to open the door to players exploring more with some of the other Titans. My guess is we'll see maybe more Eiffels being used, more Heimdalls possibly. Obviously you're going to have things like Bjorn, but yeah, you know, I think we're going to see more of the other older Titans being used, which is a good thing, by the way. Right, so do I agree with these specific nerfs? Not necessarily, but I do agree that they need to be nerfed. Those are two different things. Let's just move on here quickly to the robot weapons. Wait. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what they have here, a lot of players are concerned about this too. So they have all tier 4 weapons not mentioned below. the damage per particle reduced by 10%. So basically all tier 4 weapons are going to get nerfed. You know, it's like a blanket nerf. Do I agree with that? No, not entirely, because there are some T4 weapons that are not even that great. No one runs them, so they're going to get nerfed further. But what I do think is going to happen is after they do this blanket nerf, I think they're going to reassess things, and some of those T4 weapons I think will be buffed. That is my honest opinion, what I think is going to happen. This is why, again, this is why I tell players, you know, players put so much importance and emphasis on these tier 4 or like tier 3, you know, all the different tiers. And I keep telling them, I wouldn't even pay attention to it. Because you got to remember who's making up those tiers. It's Pixonic. They don't even play the game like the players do. The players play the game day in, day out. They understand the game. I hate to say this, more than Pixonic does, even though I know Pixonic develops it. But there's a very big difference between someone who develops and works on the game versus someone who plays the game day in, day out. You know, the understanding of the game is very different. Okay, so this is why I usually ignore tiers altogether. When I build something, I don't care whether it's an old weapon or a new weapon. If it does the job, that's all I care about. I don't pay attention to tiers. But I do think if there's a T4 weapon which is weak now and it gets nerfed further, I do think it's going to get buffed in the future. But yeah, that's not going to be in this update. It's going to be in a later update. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Okay, so now we're gonna look at Regulator, Screamer, Discipline, Kieran. Okay, so Regulator, do I think this needs to be nerfed? Yes, because it's obviously outputting a ton of damage. Hence why so many are running it on the Ravager. And players will complain and say, well, yeah, but it's getting nerfed, it's balanced. No, it's not balanced. Because if you are in a game and most players are running Regulator and Weber, why do you think they're running it? It's because they want to one-shot you. If you honestly think that is balanced, I hate to say it to you, but you might want to look up what balance is. Okay, so yeah, I do think Regulators need a nerf. They've got Screamer, Growler, and Howler here. I don't agree with this one. Because honestly, I don't really see that many players use it. Yeah, okay, so I have one of these weapons on my baby account, and I mean, I use it, but I don't feel like it needs to be nerfed because it doesn't even seem that strong. I was even thinking of replacing it with something else. So I don't know if I quite agree with this. I think I would have left it as is. Discipline and Smite, nerf. Yes, I can kind of see this nerf. I mean, they do a lot of damage, so I can kind of see this. Okay, this, we all know that this was going to get nerfed. The crumble weapons, yeah, definitely. I mean, heck, when I was running this on the Ravager, I remember I killed a Mauler. I think I killed a Mauler, and this was even before the nerf. I killed him in like 3 seconds. It just goes to show you the damage output in the game now, how insane it is. Like, so it definitely needs to be scaled back. The fire rate for these, yeah. No, I don't know if I agree with this. I think I would have just left it as is. I would have left this out of the nerfs. These I can see a slight nerf, because I've been hit by these, and yeah, they do a lot of damage. The Screamer becomes a crier now. That's funny. Okay. So these two sets of new weapons, the Leinani, Nania, the Arm M, Arm L weapons, do they need a nerf? Yes, they do. Like, I'm not even going to think about it, you know, because like if you look at how much damage, for example, the arm weapons do, not only to Titans, but to like these weapons, if you've ever seen what kind of damage they can do to a Leo, and you know how hard it is to kill Leo. These things shred through the Leo. Now, if it's doing that kind of damage, then yes, it does need a nerf. So you can see they've nerfed it here. These weapons, Okay, so these weapons, I think the problem that I had with them was that the second mode was doing too much damage. The first rapid fire was, I mean, that was decent damage too. But the second mode, so it has two different modes. It has like the first mode, which is rapid fire, and the second mode is like a blast cannon thing. That was doing a lot of damage for me. I was doing too much damage actually. The first mode wasn't too bad. Maybe you can tone it down a little bit more, but I wouldn't tone it down too much, the first mode. But maybe that's what they should have done, because I know they have damage per particle here. Yeah, it's almost like they need like two separate nerfs. Like maybe the first mode they should leave as is and then really tone back the second one. Okay, so I agree with nerfs to them. These numbers, not necessarily, because again, I would have to run it on the live server. Then they've got the Gauss, the Weber, the Volt. Do these need a nerf? And the Prismas? Considering that so many players are running these on things like the Ravager, and you know, I mentioned this at the start, if everyone starts running it, you know why they're running it, right? It's because it one-shots everything. So if you think it's balanced, well, it's not. And I know why players are running it. They're using it to counter the Leo. But if you're making the Leo weaker, then you don't need these weapons to be as strong, because then these will... So if they nerf the Leo, which is really hard to kill, all of a sudden, you know, more weapons can kill it, then you don't need these weapons to be as strong. So in a sense, I do agree with that. Prismas. I think the reason why they have this here is because players are running it on the Baglio with the solar drone. That's my guess. But the thing is, that's only like effective on some maps. So I think if they were to change it, maybe just change the solar drone instead of doing this. I think maybe that's what I would have done. Make that adjustment to the solar drone rather than the actual weapon itself. Okay, so again, like I kind of mentioned this at the start. If weapons are doing less damage, you don't need as much Aegis shield. Like even now, I think this gives... Wait, they have... Oh, reduced 200%. Oh, I was talking about the drone, the Oppo drone. I think it's 350,000. Yeah, so I mentioned at the start of the live stream, I was like saying players were hyping up that drone so much. It gives you 350,000 Aegis, but when you think about it, if you have like a Ravager with regulators, I don't know how much damage it does, but I think it's close to 1 million around there. What is 350,000 gonna do for you? It's not gonna do anything because the guy's he's basically gonna one clip you anyways, depending on what like bot you have. So that shield is like worthless. So if they're gonna lower the output of the weapons overall, then you don't need such a strong Aegis shield. Okay, so I agree. I definitely agree with this. The ultimate Havocs are doing way too much damage. Yeah, I see where they're going with that. Ultimate Shredder, I can see a slight nerf to that, and I agree with that. I definitely agree with this. Ultimate Havocs are doing so much damage, and the reason why I run it is to counter the Leo. But if the Leo is not as strong, then I don't need this to be as strong. So I'm fine with that. Okay, let me just move on to the Titan weapons. By the way, guys, we have 187 viewers. If you are enjoying the live stream, make sure to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. It is free. Okay, so we have the Titan weapons now, the Anguisher and the Ruiner. I think this is the second nerf, right? Because I believe these were nerfed before. Okay, this the Hugin and the Munin, I can kind of see the nerf to this. Mahavajra and the Vajra. I'm not sure about this one here. Okay, so Someone was asking me, I think it was Gaming was asking me in the Discord before the live stream. He was asking me if I've tried the ultimate Grom with ultimate score on the Indra. So I actually did try it, and I wasn't really that impressed, even though the ultimate Grom does a lot of damage. And I think it's because the ultimate squalls weren't really performing that well for me. So really all the damage came from the ultimate Grom. And I actually said that I prefer the Mahavajra and the Vajra weapons on the Indra over the ultimate, option. So, but I don't know if I would nerf the Mahavajra and the Vajra at this point. I think what they should do is they should leave. I don't know. It's so hard though. I almost feel like maybe they shouldn't do. I mean, I don't even run these weapons anymore. I honestly don't. I don't think they should do anything with the Anguish and the Ruiner. Okay, so I kind of agree a bit on the Hugin and the Munin. Like a slight nerf to it. Okay, so I kind of agree with that. The Ultimate Grom, I definitely agree with. It's doing way too much damage. Although they have damage per particle here. You know what I would have actually done? The thing with the Ultimate Grom is more the shot grouping. I know you have a shot grouping skill, but I think I would have maybe dispersed out that damage a little bit more. I think that's how I would have maybe handled the Ultimate Grom. The Arbiter and the Equalizer, we are seeing a lot of players use this. So here's the thing. So these weapons are a hard counter to the Ultimate Arthur, but not just the Ultimate Arthur, especially to the Bjorn. It will like melt through a Bjorn. I know this because when I first ran the Bjorn, some guy using an Eiffel, he used this on me. My Bjorn just like evaporated, and it was in the like, it was in like the tank mode. I think it was in the tank mode. All I know is it just like, man, I just got obliterated. So I can kind of see a nerf to these weapons. Whether this is the right number, I don't know. So I can kind of see this, but I think for me, like looking at this list, which ones would I nerf? I would nerf the Hugin Munin, the Arbiter and Equalizer, and the Ultimate Grom. But I wouldn't do the Hugin, the Munin, the Arbiter Equalizer by much, just a little bit. And then the Ultimate Grom definitely needs a nerf. Like it's outputting way too much damage now. Okay, so we have that, and then they are also, they're also going to be nerfing some of these, actually quite a few drones here. Okay, so let's just take a look at, this. So we've got the Ward, reduce built-in weapon damage, increase built-in weapon projectile speed. You know what's kind of funny about the Ward? So I was using this on the sword unit, but I actually found that it wasn't really that great of a drone. So I stopped using it. So, you know, to be honest, they should just leave it as is. Because first of all, I'm not even using it. I think they should just leave this as is. The Moderator. Ooh, that's a lot of... Wait. Reduce built-in weapon damage. Increase built-in weapon shot interval. Reload time. Reduce damage bonus. Increase cooldown for applying lockdown. Increase bonus. Dude, that is so many changes. This is one of the things where I would need to actually run it to see how it plays out. Because just reading these numbers makes my head hurt. So I can't really comment too much on the Moderator. I think the only thing I would have changed with this drone is just the shield. Because like I said, you know, we have so much... There are so many builds in the game that output so much damage. The 350,000 shield is really nothing relative to the amount of damage that the builds are doing right now, which is insane. So the first thing that I would probably do with this is just reduce the shield. Increase limit of cleanse stack. Reduce bonus to durability. Yeah, I think I would just lower the shield and then start with that and run tests. This live stream's gonna be 3 hours. No, we're approaching 1 hour here. I'm trying to go through it quickly. That's why I wanted to do some gameplay just to kind of break things up. But you guys want me to continue, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get through it quicker. The Webby drone. Increased damage bonus. Again, these, you know, I have to run it. But I'll tell you this. So if you own a Dux and you have the Webby drone, that is basically the counter to the Leo. So if you are struggling to kill a Leo right now, that would be a counter, like a hard counter to it. Because that's what I use when I'm dealing with the Leo. I will target the Leo, and I would have a Webby on there. But I also use it to counter the Devourer too. But the Devourer is a little bit tricky because, you know, you have the Devourer in stealth, but if you use Unstable Conduit, you can see them. So yeah, we have that. The wave. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't even touch the wave. I would just leave it as is. Protection from gray damage. I noticed that they changed the shy here. I was joking. I was telling, well, not really joking. I was being kind of serious because so many players were talking up this drone in my Discord. I told them, you know, like, that drone, so many players are hyping it up. It's not even that good. And then I explained to them how when I look at my hangar, most of the bots in my hangar right now are using the shy. And the reason why I'm using the shy isn't because of the first stand. I call it first stand. It actually has a last stand on it. The reason why I'm using the shy is because of this over here. Because the builds that I'm running right now in the game are such, you know, high damage builds. I'm able to reach the stacks in the defense points so quickly. So it's turning all my bots into tanks, essentially, just using the shy. So when we all thought that the shy was nerfed before, it was actually buffed. Remember when they nerfed it? Everyone was crying saying, oh man, it's garbage. I was one of them, by the way, so I'm guilty of that. But what I didn't realize was just how good the shy was. Who was it? Gatto? I think it was Gatto. Someone of my, I think it was Patreon member, hey Robert, mentioned that they were like, have you ever tried the shy on the Raptor? I'm like, no. And they're like, you should try it. It's actually really good. And then I tried it and I could see why they said it was good. So basically, if you have a shy on your Raptor, when you jump and you do a super jump, you're more likely to get hit by Ravagers with the regulators. But because you have the shy on there, it protects you from taking full damage from the initial hit. By then you have gotten the center beacon. Okay, so then what I do is I will then jump from center beacon straight to their campers. And if I'm able to get within range, I'm charging up my shy with the defense points and my mothership at the same time. So that's why, in my honest opinion right now, as of now in the game, the shy I would consider as the best drone in the game. It's the most versatile. So it doesn't really surprise me that they're kind of nerfing it. I am a little bit surprised by the Seeker. I think I would have just left the Seeker alone. Like when I look at what the players are running right now, they're not really running the Hawkeye. I do see a couple of Seekers here and there. I think I would have. So here's my thing. Like if I had to look at this list, which ones would I leave alone and just leave as is? I would definitely leave the Ward. I would leave. I think I would leave the Webby, the Wave, like all of these. I think I would leave them as is. I don't think I would mess around with it. This drone, I can kind of see why you would want to lower it, because if you don't have as much damage output in the game because you're lowering the damage output, then you don't need that strong of an Aegis shield. Moderate is kind of questionable. You know, I do see players using it, but I don't know how this is going to change things. They might have gone overboard with this, but I don't want to comment on it because I would have to run it on the live server. You feel like it's needed, the Seeker? I don't know. I think I would have just left it as is. Again, this is just my opinion. You know, I see players using it, but I think I see more players using Shy now than anything else. You know, just based on what I'm seeing. Okay, so anyways, moving on to the motherships, guys. We're actually kind of getting closer towards the end here. So as for the motherships and the turrets, they have the Frederick. Now, do I think the Frederick needed a nerf? Short answer, yes. Just because of, first of all, it's not so much the speed gain, like the bonus that you get, it's the damage of that thing is absolutely crazy. So when I was explaining how I would counter the Mauler using the Devourer earlier on, part of the reason why I could counter them was actually because of the Frederick. So what I would do is I would leech onto the Mauler. I would fire all my weapons at the Mauler. The Mauler would obviously dash. They have a resistance. They use their Dark Light, but it wouldn't actually matter because if I'm leeched onto them, I'm not really taking that much damage. I would empty my clip for all my weapons, and when my ability is about to end, I would go back into stealth, and I would keep on repeating that over and over again. But the reason why I was doing that over and over again was really to charge up my Frederick. Eventually, I will get to a point where my Frederick is now ready, right? So then I would leech onto them. I would apply the Frederick, and then I would hit them with the increased damage, and eventually the Mauler would just melt because they couldn't withstand the damage output, and that's how I was killing them. It was the hard counter. So do I think the Frederick needs a nerf? Yes, I do, because of the amount of damage this is just giving the bots in the game. It's not only the Devourer, by the way. I don't know if you watched my video on the Raptor, why I use the Teslas, it's to charge up the Frederick so that I have increased speed and that damage. That's why. So I would say this is this is good. Beholder, ugh, you know, I don't even use the Beholder. When it came out, I never used it. I went straight to the Frederick. Actually, no, wait, I lied. I did use it, and then I found out it wasn't really that great, and then I stopped using it. So I don't know. I guess I could see it for some players who get hit by it. You know, that is quite a lot of damage. But yeah, this was definitely needed. Okay, so it looks like they got durability extender. Increase bonus. I could kind of see this. But out of this list for the motherships, the Frederick is definitely the one that I would say is needed the most. The Beholder can one-shot kill. Yeah, but what about things like, is it the keel? Remember I was using, I think it was the keel. At one point I was using another mothership. I think it might have been the keel. And that was also one-shotting players. But it depends on like what bots they had. Like I would use that to take out campers. You guys remember that? I think it was the keel. I was using it to counter, because it did more damage to Titans. I was using that to counter the Mauler at the time. Yeah, so that's, yeah. But yeah, no, the Frederick definitely needed a nerf. Yeah, so I agree with this. I agree with the nerf, but I'm not sure about these numbers. Like, again, I would have to play. Okay, so we have, we're coming towards the end here. So we have two Titan pilots, one for the Devourer and one, oh no, wait. One pilot for the robot, the Ravager, and then the other one is for the Devourer. Okay, so the Ravager reduces bonus durability, reduced durability repairs. Yeah, so that's going to make the Ravager a lot weaker. But you know, like as I said, you have a robot that has 5 medium weapons. You can't have it tanky as well. I mean, you're basically giving it everything then, right? So if it has a lot of firepower, it needs a weakness. And if the weakness is, well, the bot is kind of fragile, then so be it. But I think that's the only way that you're going to balance things out. And if you don't do it that way, if you make it tanky, then you've got to make sure that the weapons don't do as much damage, which that's not going to happen. So making it more fragile, I think, is a good way to balance it. And then they have the Devourer here. Reduce damage reflection link. Yeah, so 30 to 10%. So now, again, now the Devourer can't just link to a Mauler and overpower it. Right? Because you can see here. Durability repairs on damage. Whoa, that's a big drop. That 75 to 15%. Yeah, so now the Devourer is weaker too. That's quite a bit too. If you look at that, like 75 down to 15%. Eesh. Maybe it's a good thing that my baby account didn't win a Devourer. I think someone was asking, did they do any nerfs to the Indra? The answer is no. There's no nerfs to the Indra, no nerfs to Luchador or Rook. Minos, so if you have any of those Titans, you are all safe, at least for now. Unless, of course, they add it to the list. But, you know, what they have there, that is pretty much what we have to work with. Okay, and let me just highlight that. I think you can, yeah, you guys can see that. So they say, yeah, with this run of adjustments, our goal is to significantly increase robot lifetime in higher leagues. While the specific rebalance numbers and the list of affected items may change based on testing and your feedback, the core principles in all these bands will remain the same. Okay, so what they're basically saying is nothing is set in stone, which means there's a possibility that the numbers that you see in today's live stream may be changed. Actually, a very high probability. We're not going to go possibility. Pretty high probability. It could be more, it could be less, it could be cancelled. Just kind of keep that in mind. The damage output of all the tier 4 weapons will be reduced. So do I agree with this? No, I actually don't agree with this. Mostly because there are weapons in the tier 4 group that aren't even that strong. So they're going to get nerfed even further. What I do think is going to happen, though, is once they go through with this nerf, they're going to see that they made a mistake. They're gonna see that they made a mistake, and I think they're gonna be buffing those weapons. They're gonna be buffing it back up again. So I think that's what's probably gonna end up happening. Ravager, Leo will be trimmed. Excessive damage. I don't know why they have Leo here. I mean, it has decent damage output, but the Leo is more of a tank. It's the Nuo that is the... Maybe they got that mixed up. I don't know. Combat rolls and relative power levels are popular. Remain largely unchanged. Okay, so we've been closely monitoring robot lifetime for over a year. As of update 11.0, average survival times have dropped below what we consider healthy for the game. For comparison, around update 10.0, it took 10 to 12 seconds for 3 average medium weapons to eliminate a defenseless robot. Currently, that same setup results in a kill in just 3 to 5 seconds. Yeah, the damage output is kind of crazy in the game right now. I'm not denying that. I mean, I've actually said it. I said that they will need to turn it back because we've got so many builds in the game which can basically kill you in like 2 seconds. What does trimmed mean? It means they're gonna lower it. Hey Finn, hey Robert. The game is going back to the Brawler vs Brawler. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of brawling happening. Okay, so those are my thoughts, at least my initial thoughts to all of this. I guess the overall thing is, do I think this is good for the game? So hard for me to kind of answer that question because then players are going to twist what I say. I think overall, I think it's good for the game. Right now, we just have so many things in the game which, you know, damage-wise is just like through the roof. For example, I mean, just even this Raptor. the amount of damage that you do with a setup like this and the Frederick is kind of crazy. Obviously, the Ultimate Havoc is doing too much damage. I mean, if you kind of dispute that, you either haven't been hit by it or you haven't witnessed, like, you know, how much damage, you know, things like Ultimate Havocs do, or like Mog ones. So I think toning them down is a good thing. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with everything that they have on their list, because I think like things like the Dux, they may be going overboard. Okay, so I do think they gotta deal with that a little bit more carefully. Blanketing things like the T4 weapons, like if you take a look at the T4 weapons, okay, so like things like Atomizer, Wasp, they're basically gonna get a blanket nerf. But this is also why I keep telling you guys that when I build something, like on my baby account, for example, when I'm building, I don't know, something for like maybe my Ravana, I actually don't pay attention to the tiers, because the tier system was designed by Pixonic, and you know, while they do have some of the employees play the game, they don't play it like the players do. So that's why I usually ignore all of the tiers. If it's a weapon that does a lot of damage, that is a weapon that I'm going to use regardless. So like, you know, a lot of players are asking me, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, I don't know if you guys notice, like when I run the newer, I could be running the new weapons on here, but like, why am I running the Scatty in the Hell? Well, the reason why I'm running it is because it has a lot of damage. That's the reason why. It has nothing to do with tiers. It has nothing to do with, is it an old weapon or new weapon? I run what is going to get me the damage. You know, and any strong player will do that. They don't care whether it's new or old. What they care about is that damage. Does it do the job? If it does, they run it. It could be the oldest weapon in the game and they'll still run it. The Scatty wall. So one of the things that I actually started doing, I can actually show you right now. Well, I'll show you. I was going to kind of do a video. Do you guys want me to go to my baby account so you can see how I'm adjusting things? I mean, I can do that. I was actually going to do that in a video though. Your weapons now are weak. So, you know, I actually think these things are going to benefit a lot of the free players. I mean, just looking at like my baby account, for example. I mean, I can hop on over and I can give you, I can like just show you quickly. I'll do it. I'll probably do it in a video format too. Hold on. Let me just go to the baby account now. Like I actually started. The thing is, I don't make like hard decisions until it's on the live server. But I needed something to upgrade, so I was like, okay, well, you know what? We'll start with it now. Most of your weapons are untouched. Oh, I'm gonna get a lot of... Oh no, I didn't get a lot of ads. Yeah, I did the... You guys know like how I was saving my my black market keys? Good thing too, because yesterday I did the opening during my members my members session, and I was like, whew, that was close, man. We almost didn't catch the 200%. Okay, so if you look at like my hanger here, you know what is really being affected. I mean, to be honest, not really that much. So it doesn't, and this is like a free account. So remember I had the Scatty. So the reason why, wait, I think I had a Shy on here. I had Scatties on here. So my thinking when I was looking at like what weapons I had in my inventory, I was like, well, you know what? Let's see what else I could run. And I was running the Scorcher and the Scald on a sword unit, and I was actually enjoying it. Well, these weapons, they're not really going to get a nerf, right? Because they're T3. They actually did get, I think they got a buff recently. So they might even get another buff. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to level them up. So I have like Scatty leveled up. And then I'm going to level up like Scorches. So I got them all the way to level 5. I was going to do more, but I only had 35% upgrade. I prefer to do the higher levels when I have 40 or 45% upgrade. So that's what I did with the my Typhon. So I started leveling these up. This is going to get hit. Obviously, the Havoc's going to get hit as well. But you got to remember, so if it's going to happen to me, it's going to happen to everyone else. So in the end, it's just like stalemate, if you will. How about the Pulsars? I think the Pulsars are getting hit too because they're tier 4, right? Yeah, they're tier 4. But the thing is, Scatty is stronger than Pulsars. Like, why would I want to level up Pulsars? Although I did start leveling it up, you can see at one point. But I stopped. So, in my opinion, I think... This is the funny thing. They didn't do anything with the Scatty. So, I actually think Snare, Scatty, and Hell are going to be really good choices for mid-range. Because even right now, you know, when players are running the Ravager with regulators... I actually prefer the Scatty over the regulators because of the reload time of the Scatty, and they do a lot of damage. But another really good option that I could see, being that everything is being scaled back damage-wise, that's like an indirect buff to the Scorches. So that's why I started to level up my Scorches. So I think if you have like Skull, Scorcher, and Incinerate, and you have nothing to like upgrade, you know, those might be really good options. So that's why I'm just looking at my drones here, like how is this gonna really affect? Okay, so that's gonna get nerfed a little bit. Not really too worried about that. Nothing's gonna happen to the Haruko. Nothing's gonna happen to Paralysis. Nothing's gonna happen to the Whiteout. And then I have the Shy. So really, I'm not really affected that much. Nothing's happening to the Indra. Yeah, the weapons, but in all honesty, I mean, I guess I have like Evora here if I needed that, but it's not really going to affect this hanger as much as you think. And I don't think they did anything to the Avalon either, right? They didn't do anything. Yeah, there was nothing mentioned of this. I think there was something I think I saw something with shield. Maybe this one here, I'm not sure. Or was that a buff? I don't know. But they're not doing anything to my Avalons, so I'm protected. Like, it's hardly affecting me. And I didn't... so this is why, you know, this is why I like kind of, in a way, putting out the baby account stuff is, even though I know I don't get many views or likes for these videos, it can help players because if you watch what I pick, you will see how I'm able to keep up with the meta and how these rebalances really don't affect me as much as you might think. Run. Member for 86 months. Wow. Thank you for being a member for 86 months. Hey, Joel. The Rust machine guns. Oh, you know what? I think I had, yeah, you know, the damper. So this is just my prediction here. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. So what, if you notice in the game, we don't really see Damper being used, Deceiver. We don't see Tamers being used. We don't see really Labrys. You know, this is the time where I will look at what weapons aren't being used in the game, and then I start leveling them up. That's how I prepare. Because there's going to be a shift, right? So like the Xion weapon, you don't really see players using it. I think we're going to see, you know, some of those weapons being used. So my prediction is when we get the nerf, like the rebalance to the game, what's most likely going to happen for the first 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of diversity. You're going to see a lot of players running all different kinds of things, which is actually good for the game, by the way. That's what's going to happen for the first 2 weeks. And then you're going to start to see a meta emerge. Because that's usually what happens. Sometimes it happens a little bit later. Sometimes it happens within a week. But it's more like when the strong players kind of find their bearings, then you'll see that meta sort of emerge. Nowadays, why does a Ravana die so fast? I think you have to learn to use the timing of your abilities. Like, I've run into some Ravana players that are very, very good with it. Yeah, I've seen some players that run the Ravana and it really does well. Now it depends. So the reason why, again, your question, why does it not survive? It's because it's just so much damage output, which goes back to why I think overall, you know, this game, when it comes to the rebalance, do I think those changes are good? Overall, yes, I do. Because what they're doing is they're scaling back the damage output of some of the builds so that things aren't just like one clipped. And that's good for the game. That's why the Ravana isn't surviving. It's because there's just so much damage output. I mean, if you look at... Hold on, I'm just going back to the BR account here. I will show you right now. Like, if I had to build one of these builds, and you see the amount of damage I do with that, Ravana doesn't stand a chance. Like, you get hit by that, man. That Ravana will have to start praying. So, like, they just say... Let's see if I have... Yeah, you see, I've got Scatty on here. You know, the reason why I got these is because it does so much damage. But let's just say we had... Let's say we had this build over here. And the Ravana was in Transcendence mode. If I manage to catch them off guard, they've basically lost all their health. Because the damage output of this is just insane. So, like, when they say they're gonna nerf it, there's a reason for that. The same with the Sam Jock. Yeah, it will still be effective. It won't be nerfed to the ground. You just have to play it smarter, that's all. Which is... So, because I know Ajal is in the chat. I don't know if he's still in the chat. So, he was playing... Ajal is someone that I squad with on my Fortnite, when I live stream Fortnite, which obviously is a different game. He was telling me of the Sonic game that he was playing. So he was saying like how a new Sonic came out and he was raving about how good it is. And then a couple weeks later, they nerfed it. And then they came out with another Sonic. And I told you, you know what they're going to do, right? The players are going to get it. Yep, see, he's in the chat. So he's agreeing because I'm telling you basically what happened. And I told him, I said, when they come out with a new Sonic, it's going to be really powerful. The players are going to get it and then they're going to nerf it. By the way, he can attest to that because he can tell you that's exactly what happened to him. And that's a different game. That's not even War Robots. Which goes to show you they all do it. All the games are doing it. Now, does that mean I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you this is what they all do. So, yeah. Doesn't mean it's right. Right? Doesn't mean that I agree with it. I'm just saying that this is what they all do. What should I run here? We've got that. I mean, I don't even... I'll just keep that. Yep, see? Look at that. In his game, they nerf Sonic so hard that you can still play it, but you need skill to use it, is what he was telling me. And I just laughed and I said, if you didn't tell me that it was Sonic, the players in War Robots would think that you're talking about War Robots. That's a totally different game, but they're doing the exact same thing. It's like so... Wait, I don't know if I want to run a Mauler here. I mean, I guess we could run Devourer. I was running the Arthur, which you could do as well. Oh, gaming plays that too. Wait, did you also have that Sonic? That's funny. Yeah, don't say I didn't warn you. They're going to do that again with the next Sonic character that they come out. It's going to be really strong, and then they're going to nerf it. Just like they do in this game. They all do it. we'll just play a couple of games here, and then I will end the live stream. I just wanted to go over those changes with you guys because I know many are kind of wondering what are my thoughts on them. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the changes. Now this is just me personally. I wouldn't stress out too much about it until it comes to a live server. Look at all that stealth. I'm surprised it didn't even shoot at me. That's a lot of stealth back there. Whew. Hey, that's a lot of stuff here. Ooh. By the way, that's the hell and the scatty weapons. Oh shoot, someone actually hit me. I'm gonna be dead here soon. Can't see them either. Oh, I think it's this. This guy might kill me. Yeah, he killed me. But I had my... So the thing is, I had my... He killed me because I already had my last stand triggered. Ooh. Guy behind me. Look at this, you can't even do any damage to him. You just constant phase shift. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can't get him. I'm gonna die when I teleport back. Where is that guy? Oh! Ay-ya! I think I should have put Wonder Worker on here. What is that guy doing back there? Oh, come on. No, he has... I got an assist. Another assist. Oh, oh. I noticed I didn't do anything with the Newton, so we might start seeing more Newtons being used. Hey, Kyle. Can live more in battle. It will survive a bit longer, but it will go down, I think, pretty quick. That's just my thinking. The Tesla weapons are... Yeah, I've been running them. So the Scorches and the Scald. That's why, so when I saw how this was doing, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should level this up. Yeah, so I'm using, so these are T3 weapons. Do you think robots like the Arachi will become relevant again? Not in the meta. Not if you're talking higher champion. They'll be a little bit more viable, I think, if they're getting buffed. But I don't think it's going to be meta like players want. Super Shadows. He's talking about a different game. But if he didn't mention the game, you would think he's talking about War Robots. But it just goes to show you that all the games do it. And that's like not even closely related to War Robots either. Not even 4. Wait, there's a RW player. Yo, that guy just showed up. I don't know it. We're gonna try to get this beacon here. No. Oh, I didn't really do that much damage to him. Oh, I need that guy to... They have a player back there with the sword unit. Whoa! Where is his sword unit? Oh, there's a Rhino player back there that has a sword unit. Oh, I can't get close enough. Uh-oh. Yes. Oh, we got a triple kill. What is that? Yes, we got him. Yeah, I kind of like this build. I like these rockets on here. Ooh. By the way, the sword unit's gonna get a nerf. In case you think it's overpowered, it is gonna get a nerf. What is that? Oh, come on. No. We may need to bring out some titans here. There we go. Let's see if we can get him. Slice and dice. Hiya! You gonna drop in here? Maybe. Whoa! Yes! Is that the same Ravager from earlier? I think that's the same Ravager from earlier. That might kill him. Yes, we got him. I was trying to time it properly so we could get rid of the Devourer. That's why I don't know if I would really nerf it too much. But then again, they're nerfing the sword. That might kill him. Yep, we got him. I almost wasn't able to use my ability there. I was close. We've got so many. I hate to say this, but we've got a lot of campers. And I think our campers are better than their campers. Come on. Oh my, I didn't even realize. Honestly, I didn't even realize that was a Devourer. He's dead. I didn't even activate my shield breaker, but I was gonna activate it. Oh my. Oh, no. What was that? What am I hitting? I don't even know what I was hitting. Ultimate edition will always be ultimate, so you're safe. I don't even think with ultimate weapons you're safe. Because look at what they're doing with the Grom. They're nerfing it. You just got the Nuo. Should you upgrade it? Because you see it gets deleted very quickly. The Nuo is a very weak, well, when I say weak, I mean fragile. It is a very fragile bot. It does go down very quickly. So you want to decide, well, do you want, if you want something that can do a lot of damage, but you run the risk of it dying quickly, then I would like this is a build that I actually run. I like this build a lot. Oh, thank you, Wee. Hiya! That's the best part about the sword unit. Why did they nerf the Devourer? Because the Devourer is actually pretty strong. It's the hard counter to Mauler. I actually wanted to drop that in to go up against a Mauler so you can see just what I mean by that. I should have maybe dropped it in. If I had dropped that in earlier, you'll be able to see. If I manage to isolate a Mauler, I'll drop in with the Devourer, and you'll see what I mean. Why it is so strong. Like, I actually rank it higher than the Mauler. If I had to choose between Mauler and Devourer at this point in the game, Devourer will win hands down. Like, it's not even a close battle. The thing is, there's a lot of counters to the Devourer too, which is kind of interesting. Wait, I can't move. Wait, why am I getting the Wi-Fi thing? Oh no, this guy is going to be linked. Oh, I got the beacon. See, this is why the Leo is getting nerfed. You can't kill it. So what I need to use to kill this is actually Ultimate Havoc. These weapons aren't going to output enough damage to kill this guy. Oh shoot, what the? One hit. Dead. That's what I mean. Like, the builds in the game do so much damage. It's kind of crazy. Like, this build that I'm using right now. Wait, why did I get out of my... That was weird. Apparently I used my... I didn't even use my ability. Well, I did use my ability. There we go. This might be able to kill this guy. We'll see. I'll use my Frederick. This is why these weapons needed to be nerfed. It's just crazy, the damage output. Oh, I got him. No. Oh. I don't have unstable conduit on here. That's why I couldn't see their Ravager. I have a different setup. How did they not kill him? He's waiting. I don't know if he has shield breaker on that thing. He might. Oh. Oh shoot, that's pretty close. Is that that looks like a Titan. These guys are moving their Titans here. He should have used his ability. Uh... Oh. Oh my gosh, I actually sliced through that wall. I didn't know you could do that. I did not know you could do that. That's crazy. Oh, almost got him. What is this guy in here now? Look at this. Players tell me that this doesn't need a nerf. The guy is in phase shift the whole time. Look at how much damage I took just from that Sam Jock. Mostly from that Sam Jock. That's why usually it's the players that have it. That's why they don't want it to be nerfed. Is because they have it, it's so overpowered and they wipe teams out with it. That's just one Sam Jock. Could you imagine a whole group of them? Yep, it definitely needs a nerf. Hey, Gatto. Am I gonna do a giveaway of the new... I have none of those planned. It's just the sword unit for now. So I currently have the sword unit giveaway running. The winners are going to be announced, I think I said Thursday. And then after that, we're actually going to do another... There's going to be another giveaway. Wait, is he running to ours? He might be going to ours. They have a sword unit on their side though. I saw he's gonna target me. Ooh, I don't know if I can... Ah, I couldn't get to him. That's a lot of stuff back there. Look at how quickly I'm doing damage to them. That's the Frederick, by the way. Ooh, they're all... Man, they're all back there. What the heck kind of party is that? That's a lot of stealth, too. Let's use Shield Breaker. What is that? A lot of campers. Wait, what is this guy up? What is that? This guy's being all sneaky. Hiya! Wow, that was a lot of players there. They're all spawning in that area. The heck? Oh. Ah, he got me. I was wondering why I couldn't use my ability. The guy had a whiteout turn. Oh, man. The super chop. It's summertime, so hence the campers. I guess it's that time of year. Carlos, I know that, you know, players, they tell me like they veterans of the game and how they're gonna quit. But I'm like thinking, if you were a veteran of the game, you would know that the game goes through buffs and nerfs, you know, the cycle. Why would you load up your hangar with just meta and like max it out? You know, if you were a true veteran, would you not know these things, right? The heck? Oh, that's why. Guess what? We're running into... Actually, these guys are probably watching the live stream as all hackers. I just left. I don't have... I don't waste my time with that. Okay, we'll play one more game because obviously I'm getting stream sniped now. So this will be the last game, if provided there's no hacker. Why are they all going to the left? That's interesting. Oh, are you serious? For real? That thing stopped me. I didn't even know that that could happen. You guys know that? I could have sworn before I would have actually jumped through that little thing that was dangling there. Holy, that's a lot of stealth back here. What do we have going on over here? Yo. Oh man, the guy's below me. Why can't I kill this guy? Say what? Did I even knock anything? I don't even think I knocked anything off there. Let me deal with this. Oh. Assist! Oh, that was a lot of stuff back there. I was hoping the shield breaker would help, but no. That they have Leo's back there. What is this? Oh, this guy's linked to me. Oh, I'm doing more damage now. I'm doing even more damage. Oh. My health doesn't look too good right now. Just saying. Ooh. Wait, how am I still alive? I'm gonna get hit the orbital strike here. Oh no, he's going after me. No! No! Oh! Wait, is this guy still here? Ah! Okay, so remember what I said? Let's see if it will work. Nope. Wait, what happened? I wasn't in my ability. What happened there? That was weird. Did I get that glitch? I might have gotten that glitch where I wasn't in my stealth. Oh no, this guy... Ah, see. I think he's watching the live stream. No one runs quantum sensor. That's how he got me. I think he's watching the live stream. Yeah, no one runs quantum sense on a mauler unless you know what your opponent's running. I think he's watching the live stream. He's totally watching the live stream. He's gonna be in the chat, and he's gonna say, "Oh, I didn't know you were live streaming." Just watch. Someone's gonna come into the chat. Who's I'm gonna have to link to this guy here, I think. No, and he went into the... Hold on. That's a lot of maulers. Thing is, I gotta be careful because they all have dark light, so it's multiplied their damage. When was I live streaming? Okay, let's see how many of them enter the live chat and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were live streaming." Yeah. No, so generally with the mauler, the top players never ever run quantum sensor. So what they use, it's a very specific build, and the only reason why you would run that is because you knew there was someone out there that you could counter with. It's very specific. Usually the maulers would run this combo here. Yeah, usually players would run this on their mauler. So the reason why they don't run this here is because if they encounter another mauler, they will get smoked. You need the repair amp, and you need or the Titan Repair, you need that in order to counter other maulers. It's a very specific build. You didn't know I was live streaming. How can you get good robots and weapons? So what I do is on the baby account, I save all my black market keys. So every month, what I will do is I will watch the ads. So wait, I would do this. So this is on iOS and Android. So what I do is I watch all of these. I don't spend the keys. I save it. That's very hard for like 90% of the players. I don't know how to save. So just think, that's 300. That's 325. So I will do that. And then I go here and then I watch. I watch all of the, like I watch the ads and stuff. I get the platinum. I get the gold. I mean, I have stuff here. This is not my account, so it doesn't really matter. Wait, how did I get the upgrade token? Weird. Oh, I got it from, wait, let's see where I got it from. Does it still show it or did it disappear? Yeah, so you get resources through this by doing the task, but I get the keys through there, and then I do the hunting grounds. So I do stages 1 and 2, but you can go further. So that's another 100 keys plus another 150. So that's another 250 on top of that. That's just for today, by the way. But I'll do this like this. You can only do once a week. But the other one, the 325? Yes, 325. So you have 25 there, and then 325 or 350, whatever it is. I do that every day, and I watch the ads and I just save up. And I had over 10,000 keys, and then I wait for the 200% super chest boost, which is this here. So we don't have any on this account because I don't collect it. I don't need to. And then I watch, or then I open up these. So I only do it when we have the 200%, because if you do the 200%, it will boost the bar more. So that way, you know, when I look at like so this is how I get like my weapons and my drones and stuff. And then I use the super chest boost, the 200% to boost this. So this gives me more chances. It gives me at least two of these I can get a month. And that's how I get like my titans and then like some robots. So that's how I do it, if you're going to do it the free way. And if you're talking about, well, what about things like sword unit and stuff? If I was a free player, I would enter giveaways. How do you get the silver quickly? Well, by doing what I just showed you right there. Because you're going to get prizes that you don't want or you don't need. I'll just sell it. So some of the things I would sell if I got duplicates, and that's how I get my silver. Yeah, some are saying use silver. That's a good point. Yeah, so you can, if you got the workshop, what you can do is you can do the workshop thing. I can't really show you here. Actually, wait, I might be able to show you on the baby account. So you can produce like robots and stuff and then just sell it and get silver from that. You can do it for free. Totally forgot. I think I was actually, what was I doing? I think I was building like Raven or something. I can't remember. Are the Titan flame weapons any good? They're decent. They might be kind of good after the rebalance, because I don't think they are touching them. Did I get? Oh yeah, look. So I had these three, and I was just getting. So I'm just gonna get the components. Then I'll just wait until tomorrow, and then I'll get the next. Actually, wait. How many? 4 continuous. Don't forget to restart the slots after 24 hours. Yeah, and then you just click that, and like this is all free. So you'll build a robot, then you sell the robot, and you get the silver, and you get your silver that way. So you can do it that way as well. And some players have been doing it. What level should you level up your Condor to? It's really, honestly, it's all relative. What I would do, this is just me personally, I wouldn't level up the Condor too much knowing that it's going to get a nerf. What I would do is actually level up the weapons, but I'm not sure what weapons you have on your Condor. If it's weapons that can be salvaged or that isn't going to get touched, like let's just say, for example, you had Incinerator and, I don't know, Skull or something. Or maybe you had Hell and Snare, you know, on the Condor. I would level up the Hell and Snare and then stop leveling up the Condor. This way you level up the weapons and you can put the weapons on other bots. So that's what I would do. Do I remember the 90s cartoon, the Exo Squad? No, I don't think I ever saw that. Is that something that you guys saw in like the US? Because I didn't grow up in North America. Oh, the ones that, oh, so those Condor, yeah, those weapons are actually going to get a nerf. I'm not sure like how they're going to perform. So you're talking about these weapons, right? Because I have one on my, you're talking about this. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to perform. I mean, like, honestly, I don't think they should have touched it. And who knows, like, you know, even though they have it on their list on this, they may cancel too. Because they've done it before. I think it was the Luchador. They had was it the Luchador, guys? I think it was the Luchador. The last time they had a pretty big rebalance. We were all kind of questioning them. Why are they nerfing the Luchador? Like, we felt that it didn't need it. And I think they cancelled the entire thing altogether, like the whole nerf. They left everything as is, I think. So that might actually happen. You never know. This is why I don't read too much into the you know, the buffs and the nerfs. Like I know you see it on the test server and like players are going to, you know, get dramatic about it and stuff. I'd be more concerned if it actually made its way to the live server. But that's why I reserve my thoughts on these things rather for the live server. I'll give you my opinion on what I think about overall the nerfs, but I may not necessarily agree with the actual nerf, you know what I mean? So for example, like the Ravager being really strong. Okay, I agree with that. You know, maybe it does need a nerf, but do I agree with the specific numbers that they've pointed out? Maybe not. Like, I'd have to actually run it. You like the blanket nerfs? So one thing I like about just the blank, like, you know, having these big rebalances in the game, one thing that I do like is that it mixes up the meta. And in a way, I know players get accustomed to running certain things, and you know, they have, like, they build up basically a routine, like they like those robots. But I think it's good in order for the game to, you know, keep things fresh. I think it's good to have rebalances, because it mixes up the gameplay and it forces players to adapt, which is part of being, like, you know, to be a strong player, you have to learn how to adapt. Because otherwise, you're just going to have the same players running the same old things, running same meta, same bots, same everything. And it's just like repeated over and over again. Like at some point, you're going to have to break away from that. It's funny how the older weapons are starting to return and are better than most of the meta weapons. Yeah, you know, like when I pointed that out, players just hated me for saying, they're like, oh, you're just defending Pixonic. It has nothing to do with defending or anything. Like, I'm just pointing out the obvious. You know, if I'm running like a Ravager with Scatty, why do you think I'm running it? Do you think I'm doing it because Pixonic told me? I mean, gosh, you got to be out of your mind. Have you ever seen how much damage that thing like how much it outputs when I could melt a Condor in flight? So are you going to tell me it's because Pixonic told me? No. I'm running it because it kills a Condor. Like, that's it. Like, and I actually show it to players, you know, like, so you actually see how much damage it does. Like, there's no hiding it. Like, how could you possibly? And, you know, then there's others that say that it's balanced. It's not balanced. Like, if I'm melting through players like that, I mean, you even saw, like, when I was running the Neo earlier, you see how I melted through a Ravager. And Ravager's kind of strong. Like, it's pretty tanky. I melted through it with the Nuo using the Hell and the Scatty. The rebalance could be good if it's done right. Yeah, I think right now we have... The thing is, there's so many things that are getting rebalanced. It's like, how could you possibly know what is good and what's not? The only way we're going to know is when it's actually on the live server. There are some things where, you know, it will stand out. Like, for example, maybe the Mauler is a little bit too strong. The new weapons, for example, are really strong. Well, like the ultimate Grom is very strong and it needs to be nerfed. Yeah, I agree with that. Right? I agree with the nerfs. Again, maybe not with the exact numbers that they have, but I do agree that, you know, the nerf to those weapons or whatever is in the right direction. But I won't know the full effect of it until it makes its way to the live server. And more often than not, what we see now is going to be adjusted and changed. In fact, I could almost guarantee that's what's going to happen in the next test server. You're going to notice they're going to change and fudge the numbers. They might even cancel some of them. They might even include other nerfs. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. You guys don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, look, I'm running it on here. Players ask me, why don't I run the other weapons? Because, you know, like how we have, you know how we have the arm weapons and how we have the Nania? I'm like, no, actually, I kind of like these weapons more. It's not because I'm showing you, oh, like I can run old weapons. It has nothing to do with that. If it has a lot of damage, I run it. I don't care if it's old or it's new. Like, that's what I run. You stopped playing the game somewhere. Oh, when they did the whole drone rebalance and the game has changed. The game will always change. It will always change. You'll have balance changes. You'll have new bots, new things that they're introducing. They do that to keep the players engaged. What are the best Titan modules for the Ultimate Edition Minos? Like, if I'm being honest, I don't actually really run the Minos. I probably should. What do I have here? I think it's going to depend also on what weapons you're running. Like, if you want a pure damage output, then you're going to have to go with the Titan Nuclear Amplifier. But I have the Titan Repair Amplifier just to make it more tankier. And then I have the Grand Balance Reactor to give it a bit of damage output and a little bit more durability. That's what I had on here last. Whether it's the best one, I'm not sure. If there's any out there in the chat who do run the Ultimate Minos, maybe you guys can share your opinions or your thoughts on like which of these modules are best for it. Oh, you're using Kraken Vajras. What would be best? Best for which? I think I'm missing some of... Oh, so you're using the Vajras? Yeah, so when it comes to... and I think I kind of covered this. I think, wasn't it like a... I'm trying to remember. Was it a Dream Hanger? It might have been a Dream Hanger. Or maybe I was running it on here. I can't remember. But one of the things that I was saying that I find with the Minos, or at least the well, it could be Minos or Ultimate Minos, same thing. I actually found that the Voras work better than the Vajras. The Vajras work better on the Indra, and the Vora works better on the Minos, in my opinion. You use the armor plate and repair amp for the ultimate. Yeah, so you building that then based on just like making it more tanky. So you were using this one here. Yeah, if you want to make it more tanky, this would be the way to go. I just have the ultimate grand because with this one, so you get, let's see, 18% versus, what was this one? Yeah, 40. Yeah, so that will give you a lot more durability. I have this one just to kind of give a little bit more damage because I'm losing kind of damage with the Titan repair amp. I'm trying to think. Maybe, I guess you could also do... So if you did that, but you kind of need that. I guess another option would be something like this. But again, for something like the Ultimate Minos, I think having the Ultimate Titan repair amp might be the most important one from this track. Then it's a matter of, well, do you want more damage? Do you want something in between, or do you want more health? So that's why I think I had this one, is because it's a bit of both. Oh, if your pilot skills are all damage related. So if your pilot skills are all damage related, then yes, I would actually, maybe then it might make more sense to use something like this. Either this combo or this combo. Because you want to counterbalance your damage with your durability and resistance. Right? So, or you could go pure damage mode, which would be, in that case, it would be this one here and then this one here. But I'm not sure how long the Ultimate Minos is going to survive if you went pure damage mode. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's the way to go. But for me personally, I would maybe I would test this out to see how it does. If that doesn't work, then I would do the complete like counterbalance, which would be either this one here or this one with the Titan repair. That way I'm balancing the durability and resistance with the high damage skills of the pilot. So there's either way. I don't know. You'd have to test it. Only you will know what's best because your starter play is different to mine. And also the players that you run into might be different from the ones I run into, right? Because if you're in the lower league, you're not going to run into the same kind of players as, like, say, the ones that I run into where they might be like Legend League players. Is there an ultimate damage controller? No, I don't think. I don't see it. This is the only ones that we have. Yep. The pilot skills for the Devourer. Hold on a second. Man, I was going to do a secret reveal for the Condor, but now I don't know if it makes sense to do the secret reveal because things are going to be changing. It's only going to be good for like a couple of weeks and then it's going to change again. I mean, should I? I was going to do actually a secret reveal for that and like maybe like a Titan or something for like, I mean, I guess this week coming up. But I don't know if I should do that now because it's all going to be changing. Why does Pixonic make things so hard? Okay, so that's what I have. You can take a screenshot. And then that. You know, when we have so many changes like that, I prefer the changes to hit the live server first before I do like a secret reveal. But that's the thing, like, you know, I put out a secret reveal that's only good for like one update and then they change it. And I can't possibly keep up, you know, because there's so many different bots in the game and stuff. Would the Mauler be viable after the nerf? When I ran it on the test server, it was still doing pretty decent. One thing you'll notice though, you do go down a lot faster. But they didn't do anything to the dark light, so the damage output is still there. It's just that you won't survive as long as you do now. The new shotgun's still going to be... I think those are going to get a nerf. So if you run... This is probably what I would actually do. If you have a Sam Jock. Yeah, so you're referring to these ones, right? The Kieran. So these weapons are going to get a nerf. Let me just load it up here quickly, so we can, like, just for visualization. Some people are more visual. I'm one of them. Okay, so these weapons will get nerfed. If they do get nerfed and they get nerfed really bad, are the really good options. So just remember that with the Sam Jock, you want something that is close range that can output the damage quickly. So if that gets nerfed, in my opinion, really good options would be the Glaciers and the Rime. So if you have these saved up, these would also actually be really good too. That one there. And you know, the beauty about this particular build too is if you freeze a player up, they actually take on more damage. So what you would do is you would get out of your ability, hit your opponent, freeze them up, drop the turret. So they're doing more damage, you know, because of the freeze effect. And yeah, and you have that burst damage. Plus, when you're in your Transcendence mode or your phase shift mode, they're actually busy reloading your rockets. So this might be a really good option. Another option would be to run... I was going to say Devastator, but I think these weapons will get a nerf, right? Because this is T4. But it might still be effective. It's great damage as well. So this might be another option. But looking at the fact that this is a T4 and the other one's it's T3, right? Yeah, it's T3. So maybe the Glacier and the Rime might be better. But if you have these weapons, that's what I would switch to. Yeah, so this would be the other option. You just need something that has high burst damage and can reload while you're in phase shift. So both of those options I just showed, they both work. It can work, but I think the Scatty is stronger. Why not do Secrets Revealed for the older bots? Because not many watch them, unfortunately. That's why I had to focus on the newer stuff. I mean, if I keep focusing on all the older stuff that the players want, in all honesty, my channel will be dead very quickly. Which is also one of the reasons why it has been suffering recently, because I've been putting out a lot of baby account videos. So with that, everything drops. Like massive drops in views and everything. Do I think the Minos is good? I think it's going to be stronger after the rebalance, because nothing is being done to the Minos and everything. Well, I mean the Devourer, the Mauler, they're all getting nerfed. So the Minos will be a little bit stronger. Would I personally, like, if you know, I was in your shoes, would I level it up? Probably not. But there are some players that like the Minos, so I don't know. Maybe it's your style of play. What I would do is, in your case, if you have access to a test server, run the Minos. That's that way you can test run it and see how you like the gameplay of it. For me, I still prefer the Indra. Okay, so I think, guys, that's going to be it for the live stream. Before I get going, thank you very much to Dark Warrior, Lone, Dominic, Kind, Dice, Peter, Cold, and Alex for helping to moderate today's live stream. So thank you very much, guys. If they have YouTube channels, make sure to check them out. Also, let's not forget Shadow, Davis, Jamel, Run, and Hui. I don't even know. I think that's... I have to ask you, how do you pronounce your name? Thank you so much for your memberships and for your donations, guys. Really do appreciate it. If they have YouTube channels, make sure to check them out. And also thank you to you guys for dropping by, supporting the live stream. If you haven't yet done so, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Again, it is free. Helps the channel out. And I'm just looking at the poll now. Let's just end the poll. So according to you guys, based on what you have seen with the buffs and the nerfs, 64% have said that they think the nerfs or the rebalance is going to be good for the game, and 35% have said that it's going to be bad for the game. So it is pretty one-sided. So I guess most of you guys think it's going to be good. Well, that's always a good thing. We'll have to see how it pans out. Again, this is just me. I wouldn't stress too much about the changes. What I would do though, so for example, I guess this is, well, we could use what I have here as an example. Let me just throw another bot that's going to get nerfed, like, I don't know, Dux. So let's just say I was running this, right, as my hanger, and everything is getting nerfed. So what would I do in order to kind of cushion it? First of all, you want to look at what robots you have in your inventory. I always tell players never sell your old equipment. There's a reason why I say that. So that's one of the things that I would do. And then just look to see how bad the nerfs and the buffs are. So for example, the Raptor, it doesn't look too bad, so I'd keep things as is. The Dux might be to the point where maybe it's not really that great. So what can you use in your inventory that could help to replace it? That's what I would do, and I would just keep doing. So like the Leo, yes, it's getting a nerf. Is it a bad nerf? Well, I don't think it's that bad of a nerf. I think it's still going to be tough, but we'll have to see. It might still be really hard to kill, who knows, because remember, they are lowering the damage output of those other weapons, which means the Leo might still be very strong. So maybe in this case, the Raptor and the Leo are okay. Sword unit, I'm not sure. They're nerfing like the damage of the sword. That could be a bit of a problem, but we don't know to like what extent. It might still be very effective. So in this kind of case, the Dux gets hit the hardest. I think the rest are fine. So the only thing that I would really be worried about is maybe the Dux. Then I would go in and I'd be like, okay, well, what do I have, like a damage dealer in my inventory that could maybe replace it? But yeah, I wouldn't like flat out go change everything. Like, you gotta kind of be reasonable with some of what you have. And maybe you do have a Kraken Indra and your Devourer or your Mauler is gonna get hit. Maybe now it's the time to start preparing, the Indra as a backup. That's how I would handle it. So like, I wouldn't be really changing that much. Would the Shell or the Typhon? Yeah, it's very possible. Very possible. We'll have to see. I was actually thinking, it's funny you mentioned the Typhon. I was actually thinking that maybe we might see more Typhons on the field, because right now the Typhon just gets smoked. But it gets smoked not because, it's weak or anything. The Typhon is actually, if you build it right, it can be pretty tanky. The problem is, right now in the game, there is just so much damage output. It is kind of crazy. You just saw like how much damage I was outputting with something like, the Ravager with Mog 1, or like, even the sword unit, or I didn't run the Dux, but these bots, they just do so much damage now that needs to be toned back. When you have bots like that, could you imagine running like a Typhon? Someone mentioned like a Mars. I think I saw it on Reddit. You're just gonna get smoked, man. Like you don't even stand a chance. So I think overall it's good that they are paring back the damage output. But doesn't mean I agree with all the nerfs. You know, there's some that are questionable. Like I wouldn't touch it myself. Like the Condor, I don't. So the only thing with the Condor, when it repairs like some of the durability, I think they had it, what was it, like 30 down to 10 or something. I think I would meet somewhere in the middle, do that, you know, and then test it and see how that goes. But I don't see many Condors in the games that I play. I mean, I do see them every now and then, but not like Raptors, for example. So anyways, guys, that is going to be it for the live stream. And some of you guys were asking me about the winners for the sword unit, the prime sword unit. That is going to be coming on Thursday. Okay, so I did specify that in the video. You know, if you're wondering, if you have any other questions on the giveaway and stuff, how do you want to go check out that video? I have the details on how to enter, when the winners are going to be announced and everything. So all of that is there. The nerfs come and go. Yeah. And most times, a lot of the times, you can still play the bot. You just have to play it a little bit differently, a little bit more carefully. But that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So anyways, that's going to be it for the live stream. If this is the first time you happen to drop by my YouTube channel or my live stream, I hope you enjoyed today's live stream going over the buffs and the nerfs. You guys can share your opinions in the comment section once a stream is done. You know, whether you feel the overall rebalance is a good thing for the game, bad thing. And I think that's going to be it. So coming up this week, I will probably have a video on the baby account because I did do the opening. I'm trying to think like what else. Oh, and I'm going to be trying to cover the test server because I was testing out the new Teth robot. I'm hoping to get all that footage today, so that might be coming on. That might be coming on Tuesday. Okay, so that might be coming on Tuesday. Wednesday might be the baby account, and then Thursday we'll probably do. I'm thinking probably Dream Hangers. We'll see. Okay, so that's going to be it. So once again, thank you guys for dropping by. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and until the next live stream, I'll catch you guys later. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.